So if you find yourself staring at the screen and you're not really quite sure what you need to do next or what you could or should do next, then this one's for you. So this framework that I use with my clients is a reset for intentional action. So call it the 4 Ps. So this is often where we get a little bit stuck in our heads most of the time, but we get a little bit stuck about what needs to do next. So this is a really simple but powerful mindset reset that helps you to interrupt that autopilot, to refocus and take aligned action. So especially when you're feeling overwhelmed or distracted or for those of you who really struggle with procrastination, this will really help. Now, often people think they need to push through, push harder, but actually, the best thing for most people is pausing, is just taking a moment to think things through and then be able to move forward with purpose and with intention. So, I'm going to walk through how it works and then give you 5 tips to be able to use the 4 Ps in day-to-day life. So, the first P, pause, stop, just stop, just interrupt the autopilot. This, we go into that panic mode when we have that sense of panic. We go into that fear response, the fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and that will impact people in different ways. The best way to interrupt that is to just pause, is to stop. It's okay just to take a moment, take a deep breath, and check in. What do I really need right now? Now, if you need to move away from your desk, if you need to go for a walk, if you need to go and put some music on and reset your physical state to help to reset your mental and emotional state, then do it. That couple of minutes, it can make all the difference. But when you sit and you're trying to force it, it very rarely ends well. Your brain doesn't function at that optimal level when it's in that fight, flight, and freeze mode. So, when you can bring it out of that, you can bring it back down, bring your physiological state back down to a neutral state, is going to really help. So, I promise you, take a pause, stop, and use a couple of minutes just to help to reset. Take some deep breaths, change your physical state, shake it off, walk it off, dance it off if you need to, and then ask yourself the question, what is really needed right now? Then you can prioritize, which is the second P. So this helps you to then look and reconnect with what matters most. So quite often when we get caught up into it, we're just thinking short term, we're just thinking in the moment, and we're looking for something that moves us out of that present pain point. And often that just pushes the pain back to the future or pushes it forward to the future. And often that then compounds. So when we can deal with it in the moment and when we can think about what do we really need and what is most important right now, then we can also think about the bigger picture. So what is in alignment, what's most important. So when we think about what is the priority, we're thinking about it right now in this moment, but how that fits into the bigger picture so that we're not pushing things into the future to become a bigger problem later on. So we pause and then we prioritize. We reconnect with what matters most. So, what aligns with the most important goal today? What aligns with the priorities that I set myself this morning? What aligns with what I need to get done today and this week? So, once we've taken that pause and once we have then prioritized, then we can hit those final 2 Ps in one. Proceed with purpose. So, you've reset, physical reset, mental and emotional reset. You have reset to match your priorities. Now you can proceed with purpose. So you reset, now you can take action. Not the random busyness, not the thing that's next on your list, but intentional movement that's going to help you to move forward. So this is where, try asking yourself, am I choosing the clarity over pressure? Am I choosing the priority over pressure? Am I choosing the priority over the pain point? And that will help you to shift from that panic state into a more purposeful and intentional state, which is what we want. So here's 5 tips to help you to use this in the day-to-day life. So use it in the micro moments. You don't need to wait a full day to reset. You don't need to push through the day that you are in and then think, right, let me just get through with today, which I hear a lot. Let me get through today and then I'll reset tomorrow. You can do this at any point. You do not need to wait for the break. You do not need to wait for the end of the day. You don't even need to wait until next Monday. You can just put it in and use it in the micro movements. So when you catch yourself in that state, reach, and quite often we will reach for a phone, we'll reach for a distraction, or we'll go and find something else to do, procrastinate often. When you catch yourself doing that, run the 4Ps through your head: pause, prioritize, and then proceed with purpose. Even a 30-second quick reset can change the direction and reset yourself for the day. If it helps, keep the questions visible. You can see I am a good fan of post-it notes, and I've got post-it notes as reminders as much as I've got post-it notes of things to do. But keep the questions visible if it helps. So write down the 3 Ps on a post-it note or a bit of paper and leave it near your desk so that you can refer to it when you need to. Have them there so that you've got them to hand when you feel that feeling kick in. When you have them in front of you, it's also going to prompt proactive reflection rather than waiting until you need to react to that change in feelings. So a proactive prompt can really, really help. You can use it after every interruption. So if you've got pulled into an email, or a text message has dropped in, or your WhatsApp chat is pinging away, or the kids need you, or the dog needs letting out, or somebody's dropped by or called you to ask you a question, then you can use the reset to get you back on track. Okay, right, deal with that. Okay, take a deep breath, pause. Okay, what is my next priority? And then you can proceed with purpose. Don't just pick up where you left off. Choose where you go next. You can combine it with breath work or movement. So just changing our physical state can help us to change both our mental and emotional state. So when we're able to shift that panic mode, that fight, flight, and freeze response, most of us need something a little bit different to help us to return to that neutral state. So being able to regulate your nervous system in those moments is really important. Breath work can do that. Movement can do that. Music can do that. Talking it through can do that. Work out what works for you. So sometimes even just standing up, taking a couple of deep breaths, or just walking out to the kitchen, popping the kettle on, or topping up your glass of water and walking back in and taking some deep breaths as you do it can make a huge difference. Then you can apply the 4 Ps. Take a proper pause without any distraction. Then you can check the priority list and then proceed with purpose. So this will help reconnect your body and mind before you jump back into it. Don't skip the pause. Okay, number 5, don't skip the pause. As tempting as it is to jump straight into action, the magic is in the interruption. So for those of you who've had coaching sessions with me, you know that sometimes I will interrupt. I will interrupt to break the pattern of your answers. I will interrupt to create that disruption, because it's really powerful, because we're creatures of habit, because we tend to do the same things in the same way, we think the same things in the same way. There is magic in the interruption. So don't miss out the pause, and make it a very intentional pause, not a, oh, I've just been interrupted, so that is the pause. Make the pause very intentional. So the pause is what shifts you from reaction into reflection. So that's what makes the action then intentional, not habitual. So do not skip the pause. Do not rush ahead. There are 4 Ps there for a reason. So something to leave you with, something to think about. Where are you rushing, reacting, or running on autopilot when you could be pausing and choosing. If you are trying to change behaviors that have become automatic, this is a great way to be able to do that, because we will go on autopilot. We will have automatic reactions to things. And whilst those automatic reactions might have been useful to us in the past, if you recognize they're not important to you now and you are trying to make that change, then the 4Ps can make a huge difference. So the other time when it can be really beneficial is when you are procrastinating. So if you find that you are distracting yourself or you are putting something off, think of the 4Ps. Don't need something new. You don't need to go back to the drawing board. You don't need to plan it again. Yes, you don't need to plan it again. You don't need to rewrite the list. You just need to reset. Start with the pause. Then look at your priorities, and then you can proceed with purpose. 4Ps, nice and simple. A nice and simple reset to make sure you are intentional and that it all aligns with what is most important to you. So I would love to hear how that helps. I'd love to hear how you put it into practice too. If you want to pop that into the comments, I am always excited when I see how people are using these frameworks and these mechanisms. So feel free to share. And I will link in another video for you to be able to watch to help. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask.